Welcome back, everyone, to Verizon Valorant Game Changers North America. I'm your host, Elizabeth. Whoa, can you get my name right? Joined by Emily and Doug. We had a bit of a closer one last map. A little bit more of a kind of a nail biter, if you will, on Fracture. But FlyQuest Red are now on series point. They take Haven, they take Fracture, and we're moving on to Bind next. And I think right away we have to talk about what a performance out of that team, especially Bob, Emily.
Oh my gosh, so close to the 40 bomb. What, 1910 at half, I think? That was just phenomenal to see. Like, Bob is just so good. I'm such a
Yeah.
fan.
I think Bob, it felt to me like, especially in the first half, Bob was the one keeping them in the map. There were a lot of things that YFP was doing exceptionally well, and I'm sure we'll talk about it a bit more, but Bob was easily, and you can look at the stats and go, oh yeah, Bob was really good, which is true. Bob was very good, but the value that was added, it wasn't just like stat padding eco frags. There were like some of the ones that we're seeing right here, this 3K, the fact that they were able to adjust some of how they were approaching the defensive side, and the anchor that Bob essentially became in some of these high pressure moments was so effective. I am fully convinced that if Bob didn't put up the performance that they did in the first half, we'd be having a different conversation here. We'd be talking about 1-1.
Oh, I completely agree. It felt like any fight Bob took, he always got away with at least one, if not more. Like, the multi-kills coming from every single round was just so impactful for FlyQuest.
I mean, obviously, like, props to FlyQuest for setting up Bob, and, obviously, Bob didn't do this alone. We talked about kind of that, earlier in the broadcast, what an initiator needs to do to set up their duelist, but kind of using Raze to her ultimate kind of final form. 40 kills. Wait, they did get the 40 bomb.
She did hit the 40 bomb.
Oh.
461 ACS is insane.
Yeah, I love going a casual 40 and 16. a lower final to make it to grands for the kickoff tournament of the year. Yep, just another Tuesday for Bob.
Oh man, literally just another day for in the office for Bob. Emily, as a player, when you go up against someone like Bob, is it GG at this point? Like, how do you feel? Like, what is the team conversation once they drop a 40 on you?
Dropping 40, it's kind of like kill raid boss and we win, maybe. We have a shot at winning that round, If we don't, well, who knows what can happen if Bob is still alive. It's scary. It's very scary.
Of course, we want to bring up YFPX, who did play, like, especially on their attack, were effective in kind of exploiting maybe FlyQuest Red's weaknesses. Like, there were moments, Doug, where it's like, okay, this might not be such a FlyQuest dominant map before Bob kind of bobbed.
Yeah, honestly, we had a lot of questions once we saw the composition around how YFP would look on attack, because there was no space taking, there was no initiate, there was no go button, and I think reasonably so, there was a lot of doubt. This was such a silly round. There was a lot of doubt on how it would execute, but I think YFP did an exceptional job at taking, what FlyQuest was giving them. If we think about the first quarter, I guess the first quarter, there was a lot. The FlyQuest were trying to crunch a lot, particularly around the south side, and YFP just took the space elsewhere. They would just hit through arcade to go A, or they would just try to fight early, and they were winning a lot of these fights. And so kudos to YFP for realizing where that gap was and exploiting it. They did an exceptionally good job at that.
Yeah, to add on to that, I think we talked about YFP and like their random comps and how they kind of have to play their own game. But here, I think they did a really good job at letting FlyQuest do what they wanted and adapting to it, and like feeding off of that, like letting them crunch, letting them fight us, and just like overpowering.
Well, we are one map away from maybe a series point, or mayhaps, I don't want to jinx it, maybe a reverse sweep a la EMEA. I don't know. I saw it happen live. But, I think if you're a YFP, while this is not the outcome of the map, obviously the outcome of the map that you wanted, this isn't terrible, Doug. Like, this isn't like, oh god, we can't go anywhere from here. Like, going into Bind, that both teams, I believe, have played a good amount. YP have played it 3 times, and there's a lot of tape for FlyQuest's Bind. This isn't, code red, if you will.
It may not be code red. maybe it's code orange. I mean,
Okay.
I see what you're trying to do, and I respect it. And honestly, somebody needs to be that voice of reason on the desk. And so thank you for falling on that sword for us, so we don't have to do it. But I'm not gonna lie to you, it's not it. I mean, I have concerns. I have a lot of concerns on how they're gonna execute some of this stuff. We've seen that every single map they run a different comp. That inherently has problems to it, and I think we've seen that. And yeah, a couple of these games have been close. Fracture was exceptionally closer, but I think there are fundamental flaws to that, and we're seeing some of that play out. And I think yeah, I think this will be tough.
Well, something I want to ask
I'm
you,
excited to
Emily,
see them.
is that so I'm so sorry. I'm gonna what you're excited about. I think we're gonna talk about is the FlyQuest will be starting on attack, which is something that we were discussing before. That something you and I both had a lot of questions and concerns about, to be frank, moving into it. Does that bode well for YFP, Emily, or is this again what Doug is alluding to, that there are a lot of code oranges going on?
You know, normally I think I would say that this will give YFP a chance to kind of pick them apart, but based on how they've been playing, based on just Fracture itself, seeing how they set up Bob, and Bob going back on the Rays, I really am worried for YFP here. I think not even just because of how Bob is frying right now. I think just overall, as a team, FlyQuest is just feeling more, I don't want to say structured again. They're just feeling more in sync, I would say. Even on the pushes on Fracture that they didn't win, I still felt like they were all on the same page. And that is going to be crucial going into the half.
Doug, it's kind of 2 against 1 here, Doug. I'm trying to kind of get the YFP believers to feel okay, and to feel like that there's maybe some motion, but I feel like I've hit a hard place, if you will.
Yeah, I think the benefit to being a host in your spot here is you don't necessarily have to lean one of 2 ways. I think, we've talked about it a couple of times, and again, it just boils down to concerns. I think Bob is on a heater. They're gonna run a different comp. There is some lack of sync, like Emily was alluding to, that can continue to be a problem. And now, we take a look. They're running a double duelist comp. They're running this is a different comp as well. They're running the same Yoru Rays, but this time they're running a deadlock instead of a Tejo. So they have double sentinel, double controller comp with a Cypher. Or excuse me, with Brim.
See, I just want to know the why. What is the reason?
Yeah.
Looking back at FlyQuest's previous bind matches, it looked like they did struggle against Tejo, against, I believe it was Wada Wada that overthrew them on this map, or overtook them. So I'm very interested to see how this plays out. But honestly, I just want to preface this: take everything that we say with a grain of salt, because we have been wrong, or at least for me, I have been wrong when it comes to my take.
What?
Yes,
we're infallible. What do you mean?
I'm just saying, everything that I've seen playing out has not played out exactly, or at least super close to what I've been kind of assuming going.
Listen, Emily, it's got to be confidence. It doesn't even matter if you're wrong. Just say it with your chest, and people will believe. That's how I've gotten through this entire career.
Lying.
Okay. Well, then I
think it's saying to lie. Oh, there we go. Let that confidence make it so you make it. I love it.
I think it's gonna be soft.
Perfect. We are on series point maybe for FlyQuest Red, and I know exactly who to send it to. It is Lemon Kiwi and Vincently on the call.
Well, I'm glad they sent it to us. I wasn't sure who else it would be. And
if anything, Emily real. Now we know esports Doug fraud.
Fraud watch. Along with that, I'm excited to see some of these comps, because you and I cast challengers together, and I don't think we've seen any double duelist on bind, but now both of these teams, I think we're running it. So
yeah, unless you're rankers. Rankers definitely have been running some Yoru, some ISO, actually it was ISO Reina the last time they played, and I think that's why FlyQuest is going to take a little bit out of the page of the book of Rankers, pulling out a Clove onto Kara this time around. So I'm expecting that there's going to be some heavy aggression for FlyQuest on the attack side around this Clove and double duelist that they want to do. But overall, there's still a lot of good synergy coming out from the Deadlock and the Fade and the Raze around those 3. So you can already see the pack mentality starting here for FlyQuest. All 4 of them outside of the Yoru are working for Showers control, and once they do, the Yoru could also TP and they go for a 5-player hit towards A.
Oh, you didn't even need a net to catch that bug Pokemon. They just peek and it's a shot. The Sheriff, that works out. Bob, after the 40, is hoping to do just that much more lethal damage in this map. The FlyQuest still have the net too if they want to. They think someone's in that right nook, but they are just going to use the clove smokes to make these sightlines easy to address. As YFP were able to fire back as FlyQuest flood in, and it's also a scary shark flank, so FlyQuest kind of got caught despite having such an early advantage. He just couldn't follow through to finish the job.
Not too sure what happened there. They did try to do those smokes to play around triple, but YFP disrespected it, played inside, and just popped down FlyQuest, and now Unstable has to try to clutch a 4 versus 1 with a Sheriff.
Oh, just looking away at the wrong time, and they would have got the one shot onto the Rays. I would have been a believer for sure.
Yeah.
And YFP just being able to mitigate that early FlyQuest aggression, just getting the info. Okay, there's a lot of people storming showers. Just being able to catch them by surprise. And Melly is just going to have such a different role in this game. She's been playing a lot of chamber and now has to be that explosive duelist that matches the prowess of someone like Bob on the other side.
Yeah. And I also like the YFP composition, although, you know, we were trying to figure out what they could do with this, but on the attack side for YFP in their last matches, they were doing a pretty good job utilizing Yorus for fake TPs while they were trying to re-hit sites when they had the right numbers. So we'll have to keep an eye on that on the attack side here. But on an eco that you have from FlyQuest, looks like Unstable is trying to do a fake Yoru clone as I let Durka and got instantly punished. But somehow this is going to be a thrifty for FlyQuest? Oh no.
It's looking like that. YFP got maybe a little too confident. Now you got a deadlock on the post plant, and Sonder blocks off the back site. FlyQuest have smoked heaven. And that's about to go away, and Kara with the quick flick. And Ev is able to upgrade to a Vandal. Good kind of sidestep. Not going to spray down the box. Still gets the win, and quick flicks onto a second, and you called it. It's a thrifty.
Bob's just trying to see if she's got some hops there from the barrel. Trying to pick up that Vandal that was left behind, but yeah, at first I was like, okay, well, Unstable's just going to try to troll a bit with their fake Yoru clone up towards Long B, but for the others to just win classics on the showers push. Not too sure what was missing there. Corrupt was our solo, and then we had another solo peak, and then they just gave up an Outlaw and a Spectre because of that. So that was the demise. That was the finishing touch and the finishing blow actually on YFP here. And now you utilize the Outlaw to your advantage and also everything else that you picked, and time to storm against the defense.
Another aggressive play from YFP that gets completely shut down by FlyQuest. Yeah, there's very good weaponry from FlyQuest, but mechanically, FlyQuest look really good in this series and overall in these high-pressure scenarios. Sometimes that's all it takes to win out. As Ev will just hope to go down with the ship, and FlyQuest being able to keep all these weapons in the next round always helps too.
Yeah. And you see that even though Kara was getting very close to her ult under the clove, or maybe trying to use a fade with the Nightfall, they actually want to leverage the ult around the Yoru instead. So Unstable going with the orb and the plant, trying to chase for the kills too on Ev. But they won't be able to find them. But at least you're seeing the game planning for FlyQuest, that they are going to put a lot into the Yoru dimensional drift. And usually Yoru dimensional drifts on maps like Vine, it's a free round for you because you can get so much information within the sites, and if those players are not playing to go retake, then they're gonna get spammed, because usually you're trying to smoke to screen the push coming through, and they could just leverage their opponent's smoke to just spam through it after Unstable gets all the information. So think about that game plan, how YFP is going to be reacting onto that once we get to the ult here for Unstable.
Yeah, FlyQuest have had really good reads on when YFP are going to get desperate, and in that Sheriff round, FlyQuest just had to hold the angle. So we'll see how this op, and even a showstopper from Bob already, can be used early. Meanwhile, you have a FlyQuest Lurk that's prowling up into A. That's gonna get some attention, even maybe pull this deadlock from Corrupt, and Melia puts a stop to 1 and now decides to back away. FlyQuest, don't be shook too much. They pulled their lurks from A over. And it's Melia with support from her team, with the op to just hold the doorway. And FlyQuest, at least a smoke separating them for a moment, so could have chosen a different path, and maybe they're just waiting on Lace to activate on that lurk and give them another option.
Because you already used the clone here to try to sell a fake moving up, you can't use the clone running into the B site, so this is just going to be a simple fake to the B site, TP away towards the end, try to make a play towards A, but with this lurk coming up, I mean, she avoided the trip. He gets it.
All right, well, FlyQuest are looking for a pick either off the Yoru or the Slurk, and finally they land on A with 25 seconds left to play, and a deadlock on the post play. That's the beauty of having Sonder in this lineup. Besides, you know how good of a player she is. Okay. That worried me there a bit when the knife was out and the gun came out. FlyQuest, a 4 versus 1. I would like to be kept there from Melia. And I think that deadlock barrier is still in the way, so Lace is maybe trying to take this op away from Melia, and now it just feeds more orbs.
Fable's already there, though. That's no op left. Feeding orbs is okay if you could deny the op from Melia, because YFP's economy is super low. They're going to be forced to save on top of that in round number 5. But this right here, it started off well. Bob overextended on that peak. They didn't really time their 3-2-1 to sell that fake first so that Bob could get the wide swing on the shot. But outside of that, the Lace lurk towards the U-Haul was everything that changed around in favor of FlyQuest to convert that 4 versus 5 to their advantage and for a round. You mentioned that showstopper that was available for Bob. It's still available now in this round, but also for YFP. That could be the saving grace here for YFP if FlyQuest decides to go back towards A with this pressure here on Sands.
Damn. Nice little flash play from Bunny B, and he still has a teammate to try and delay things in Hookah, but the net maybe catches. But Scary Shark is able to bite back, and 1 away from the orbital strike is going to take a safer position towards the site, while FlyQuest have to deal with deadlock barriers and all types of Sentinel util, both stacked at A. But at range, Unstable still gets a pick, and a Prowler's trying to trigger some of this util, while Kara is by themselves, inserted into Hookah.
She heard Nora run down too, so she might call that. Sorry to cut you. So that's why the other 2 players are walking forward. They might be able to catch Nora walking down here.
FlyQuest gonna take their time, and Lace, the big shutdown, gives a lot of security to this planter. Melia's on the way, and it's gone. The showstopper is simply gone. Going for a big brain play, and it's just Ev hoping to go down with the spike. And FlyQuest are taking these rounds with like significant numbers. Now I'm wondering when YFP gets some good weapons going, if this will be looking like a closer round.
Yeah. Well, the numbers weren't in their favor in the first place. I was going to credit the beautiful nades that came out from Melia all the way from the A site towards the TT to actually save Nora from being gunned down as she was netted by Sonder moving forward. So as she gets blown up to bits, they still had to play some hero plays, and it came down to, unfortunately, the misstep that Nora running down towards Sands didn't allow for her to get the surprise lurk, and then you had full B control, full B site control, and then you just couldn't get that finishing touch here with the Hail Mary showstopper that was probably going to be the winning condition if you wanted to utilize an ult to your low buy advantage. And now FlyQuest, they could really run away with this half.
Okay, we got Boombot, Prowler, clones, everything to take showers. And it's a 1-1 trade with FlyQuest a little bit still stuck at showers, leading that charge is unstable while Melia holds down a short. FlyQuest taking space. Now if the Nightfall to overwhelm YFP and keep them stuck in their positions. But Bob goes in to address it solo, and I know she's the GOAT, but gotta play as a team if you're FlyQuest now. Pushback from YFP and Corrupt, who can't land the right shots, giving FlyQuest now a lot of leverage in these rounds. 5-1.
Sonder was trying to run up here with the annihilation at the very beginning. Got opt down here by Melia, so she did her job, really holding it back towards that short side. But that pressure that came through from that showers push was really, really nice here. It didn't give a chance here for Nora to really set up and leverage that orbital strike that maybe could have stole this push out from FlyQuest. So
silver lining
so good
is
here for Bob.
Yeah, at least the silver lining is FlyQuest used a lot of ults there, so YFP have a broken bye, so the Bucky too. That's going to be rotating from B as FlyQuest are trying to waste no time, and they have been met by some challenges. But FlyQuest are still able to lock in and win every single gunfight and not give any inch to YFP, as they should get a flawless with this type of weaponry. But we just hope that YFP could do a little more damage if they could with a Sheriff or anything that they have.
Yeah, but the scale utility is still very good here for FlyQuest on that showers control. So at first we saw once again the Prowlers allowing Bob to move inside and take control of showers, but the extra layer is Sonder throwing the grab net above so that it lands towards that back. So now Scary Shark or anybody that's trying to play forward positions and fight in the first place and are now forced to fall back or going to get grab net, and just allows here for FlyQuest to continue a very fast tempo on the attack side and continue to stay as a pack mentality, just like it's like Haven all over again. Look at how tight-knit they are when they go on these executions.
Wow, full net nade combo.
Exactly.
Just coming in from different angles.
Yep.
This feels more like a procedure, too, from FlyQuest of taking things step by step. FlyQuest forced to take a time. I was actually just telling you during the break, like, I feel like we've seen very few timeouts, while as like in challengers anywhere else, as soon as you lose like more than 3 or 4 rounds, it's like red alert. But these girls have either known each other for years, or they just know how to solve the problems on their own.
Yeah.
They can just kind of forget what happened last round, you know, if it ended badly, or to take the momentum and keep swinging. So
well, if you look back at the fracture map, it was just small mistakes. Let's talk about that round that was ended up being the nail in the coffin that allowed FlyQuest to win the round. It was just one small miss smoke here from Scary Shark that had a small gap, and then Bob was able to open up the A site. If it wasn't for that, the rest of the game plan was still sound for YFP, and they knew what they had to come up against. They almost got this into overtime. This time around, though, it doesn't feel like they have a strong grasp of how FlyQuest is going to work on the attack side. Look at what's happening right now. Well, those strikes coming through, and they're fighting back, but everybody's staying tight-knit for FlyQuest to be able to get all these trades instantly.
FlyQuest sent most of their numbers through showers, so YFP knew they just needed to stop hesitating and actually shoot back and hold that door instead of just let FlyQuest throw util, throw gravnet, nades, flashes, whatever. And especially, what was it? Oh, it was Bunny B2 with the dimensional drift. So YFP done a great job now. It's just Sonder in the post plant, and she gets picked off, and get to keep the op too. So a great retaliation for YFP, because I was starting to get worried about the mental of being down 0-2 in a series at series point, and you're down starting to be a significant amount of rounds. But after the timeout, clearly they've cleared their heads.
Yeah, and what I missed there was I was complimenting FlyQuest on how good they were on the tight-knit pushes on these instant trades, but there was still really good delay coming out from YFP from an orbital strike. So their answer to unstable ulting into U-Haul to start creating some sort of a chaos within the A-side defense, they decide to push showers with their ults, making sure they don't get hit by grab nets like they did previously, and fight in that spot because they had such a strong ult to work with to defend here towards showers. So that worked out for the a saving grace here for YFP, but they needed some strong ults behind that in the first place, which they don't have this time around. So now their win con is an op in the hands of Melia once again, watching it towards Hookah down towards Sands. And for FlyQuest, just a little standard default.
Sensor tripped.
Just spotting numbers there from FlyQuest over at B Long. A slower default from FlyQuest, and unfortunately getting punished. FlyQuest have been shoved at showers, so they adjusted by slowing things down a little bit. So that's being met by equal aggression from YFP, which resulted in that YFP win. So FlyQuest be missing Sonder, and she'll be missed dearly on the post plants if they even get to that point. The offensive op from Bob is still hoping for a peek out of YFP. Deals with at least the trip with the nade. And while the obstacle course over at B will ensue, and FlyQuest have all that to deal with. And so far, so good. And if they can get that kill onto Corrupt, that may even signal FlyQuest to plant over there. Now clearing through Hookah will put pressure on Corrupt, who still has the Annihilation, and Melia holds down. FlyQuest are just met by so much force from the defense and just can't seem to break through.
Yeah, very nice towards the end here for YFP to hold the defensive line. The Boombot, they didn't try to wait behind that to see if there was anybody holding towards Hookah in a aggressive line, and they met up with that op from Melia, and thankfully that shot was clean. Hits Kara, drops her, and that doesn't allow here for FlyQuest to be as quick as they want to enter towards this B site. Yes, it was a TP that came across here from Unstable. There was still so many players anchored up inside B. I was gonna say FlyQuest did an excellent job to break all the util in the very beginning. I'm gonna hold that thought for a bit. We have an attempt to really push quickly towards Hookah. An instant wall goes down for YFP. We might see a battle coming very soon here for this Hookah control.
Just the net Annihilation showstopper, but Melia misses the statue. Or got kind of pushed back by the barrier and try number 2. Oh no, the Annihilation still gets a kill. 2 ults, 1 kill. Are YFP gonna be satisfied enough? At least why FlyQuest gonna pivot out of that situation, insert themselves into A with the Yoru clone. Smart plays from Scary Shark to address at least the correct Yoru, and the spike is dropped. 1 versus 4. Bob. After some slip-ups from YFP, still a first blood from the defense, and FlyQuest get caught not able to freely enter the site as they were able to do when the half even started. Now you got a sonic sensor too if Bob wanted to get crazy with it. Still double satchels.
30 seconds left.
Bob's just hoping for a desperate peek out of YFP, but it's been a similar setups from FlyQuest to just hope YFP peek them first, but YFP are playing smarter and smarter, especially after the timeout. Like YFP haven't lost a round since the timeout.
10 seconds left.
Couple seconds left. Bob doing what they can. This is delaying the inevitable, but hey, YFP have not given up, and that's great to see.
I was sitting at the edge of my seat pretty much there because it was really big moments where they were giving potentially good 1v1s here for Bob, and we know what Bob could do with the type of aim that she has, and could have converted back in their favor. But YFP, since the timeout, have been doing a very good job here capitalizing on round wins, and that's the switch off from having Ev playing over towards the A site. There's double trips that they're placing here towards the boxes on short and showers. Doesn't allow for FlyQuest to be as quick as they want to execute towards the showers control. It almost seems that since then, FlyQuest kind of just gave up on that spot, actually. As I say
Annihilation.
that, Annihilation's going towards showers. Oh my.
Actually getting a victim from that, just running up through the showers. YFP not spraying through the smoke and not aggressively holding it like they did before. And no one's gonna save. Oh, that was a clone.
Yep.
I thought that was the real one. Oh my god, FlyQuest get away with nothing. But now still stuck in showers, hoping to protect that cocoon. Now they have to re-clear, and now there's smoke standing in their way. FlyQuest still have a showstopper. It's got to be up to Bob to break in, and for some reason it's Sonder leading that charge, but Bob is holding the angle, and it's really not accomplishing much for FlyQuest. YFP are playing around cover and swinging perfectly, and FlyQuest, this hesitation is killing them.
And the ops are actually hitting. Every time I hear an op shot coming out from Melia, it's actually hitting now. A great way to start warming up and to start clearing these shots here on the defensive side for YFP. And FlyQuest doesn't seem to have any answer since this timeout that came out from at the end of round number 7. So very nice defensive plays. They have to maybe try to figure out to break this util on this middle short side maybe. They are pinging it at least here for FlyQuest, so I'm assuming you're going to try to nade at the very beginning and just start plowing here inside the site for FlyQuest. It's been really good for instant trades, and they can do it now.
The mind games using the teleporter. FlyQuest trying to pull YFP out of that showers doorway and at least breaking the crosshairs, but Bunny B making a huge turnaround in this map. But kind of uncharacteristically at the bottom, and look the plays she's trying to create. I love that confidence, and Bob is firing back.
So nice.
And after a 6-1 lead for FlyQuest, we end the half 6-6.
And it almost looks like you're giving so much space here for FlyQuest to overtake towards short A to get into the A site in the first place. But when the trip gets broken, they have good stall util in the first place. And then once it gets into, okay, all the action is slowing down for a bit, you still have a lineup net being thrown here for Corrupt from the B side all the way up above here, the mid take, to drop right in front of U-Haul for them to continue to fight back and retake the aggression and allow FlyQuest to plant. As crazy as it looks for a composition that came out here for YFP within this map, they still have good structure around how they wanted to hold the defensive side. Now on the attack, as I mentioned before, they're really good at throwing fakes here around Bunny B with the Euro clones, which they won't have for this round, but at least they'll have a duelist try to take control of showers.
It's tough because the only initiation you have is what, like a flashes from the Yoru. So YFP get caught through showers, get double picked. They try to actually teleports came from FlyQuest behind. And it's such a quick retaliation from FlyQuest and Lace with 3. So clearly they were able to kind of shake off the YFP comeback, and FlyQuest ran them down.
Yeah. Seems like FlyQuest also has a very sound way that they want to play the defensive end. Them also switching a couple of players through their compositions for this map, and you saw Lace engaging right away, going through the TP with support out from the showers with this flash, and there's no way here that YFP could get early control of showers, take orb control, or even try to split out towards the area. And quite surprisingly enough, both of these teams are adding a lot of importance into early showers control. Unlike a default that gets you on a long B control they could with deadlocks. They could throw nets here from market into Octagon.
Yeah, YFP tapped the orb, gave enough time for FlyQuest to set up and just await the push from YFP. Now the Marshal gets to reset up, and YFP have lost a lot of traction, at least with open vision. They try to use the Cypher to get some information, but I'm not sure how much they were able to see through that camera. And the Prowler from FlyQuest is thrown to still get info off of showers, and they try to send someone through teleport, and YFP are just kind of stuck playing reactive as much as possible. And unstable, the search is complete, and there is no rescue coming for YFP.
Small attempt too when Lace opened the door. I think she used the Prowler in there. Corrupt walked in, so yes, it's a freebie onto Lace, but you kind of just trap yourself into TP so that Unstable could come out and sweep up the kill with the Stinger. But a very clean anti-eco towards the end. Just body peeks coming through, punished right away, and that's the thing. At this level, if you're still trying to body peek against players like Bob, and you're not using util, you have to make sure that you have pixel peeks instead to try to bait out the shots. But if you're going to show a little bit of elbow or a little bit of leg, Bob's going to take advantage of that shot.
No elbows will be shown here. These FlyQuest back away. You don't know if that's the real Yoru clone. FlyQuest just use the Prowler to re-clear through B. Meanwhile, YFP take advantage of the walk-up from Unstable. And Kara could be next on the menu. And Corrupt gets the kill through the wall! It just feels so gifted, so charitable of FlyQuest. This pulls the entire team of YFP to go plant at A.
Yeah, not the best bonus to start with for FlyQuest. But Bob still has a rifle. You could still buy within the next round. All grouped up here is a nice thing, so they could maybe go for exits, but Ev's already got 2 trips watching that flank, so that is going to be impossible for them to get the surprise backstab. YFP might end up having a flawless round, I was going to say, unless Sonder is able to get the jump across, but cannot.
Uh-oh. Gonna be a clash. YFP go to execute and at least try to leave the site. Melly is stuck in. Gonna use the satchel to reposition. Off the swing off of Ev, too.
No way.
With the off. There's no way. At least we're entertained, and that's what matters.
I am. style points for sure. But as I mentioned before, this is Melia starting to hit her op shots. So I'm actually quite happy to see the confidence coming out of that one to be able to win that. I know it's an anti-eco, but it's still a classic that you're landing here after a satchel jump and still trying to get an op shot for the win. And you still landed right over here. Or right click that connected in the first place. But that's going to instill a lot of confidence now for Melia for the further rounds. FlyQuest in this round is still not the best gun round that they have, though, despite the save that they have on the previous round. Lace only has a sheriff to work with.
Now that Melia's like on an actual duelist, she gets to frag out against Bob. This is what I wanted to see more of on Fracture. Now it's a playstyle where Melia can be aggressive without having to figure out timings of when to teleport out on the chamber. Actually be both teams duking it out, but it's not going to be on the most even playing field with, well, where the health is at, and also Sheriff and Guardians and spamming through the smoke. I was wondering if FlyQuest were going to do more of this, and elbow was shown but not shot at.
Yeah, that's Bob with the Guardian the whole time. 2 taps onto Bunny B. Bunny B's low on HP. Doesn't have too much left on their regen shield, and then you have Melia also getting tap and giving up showers control.
Stable. Oh, the double swing. Nicely done by YFP. Setting up the deadlock barriers so they can get a plant and at least trap FlyQuest in, but they don't have full vision of U-hauls, so YFP have to be careful of that. Bob trapped too. Oh no. YFP are not even going to care about clearing U-haul. They're just going to hope to watch over it from A main.
Nightfall Flood. It's the best thing they got right now.
The Sheriff, Lace, and the Prowler puts pressure on Bunny B, and then Jiggle and the bait and switch from FlyQuest is pretty clean. Despite the disadvantage they sort of started with. Now the spike gets tapped, and everyone gets hosed down from the YFP firing squad at range. Some kind of util mixed up FlyQuest, and I thought the retake was possible.
That was such a nice try because they went for the fault line. You deafened a couple of players back towards the short. One's gonna run in to go for the defuse, and then the other ones are still fighting and not fully committed to give your peak out and give your full body out here from FlyQuest because you're trying to delay as much as you could so that hopefully Sonder can get the full defuse. And somehow, by a miracle, YFP is able to come across and spam through the smoke to get the frag. And it's around here for YFP to tie up the game.
No heroics. Follow protocol.
But it was still very good here for YFP to enter. You mentioned it here, Lemon Key. They did a great job trapping FlyQuest within U-Haul where they couldn't really get out and delayed long enough here to not get the best value out of the Nightfall. Yeah.
Getting into B has been so tough. Just with the deadlock util and using the clone, which gets stopped by the barrier. That's out of the way. FlyQuest with the high-low are worrying about what's being thrown in. Their crosshair gets broken. Lace still gets a good pick. Showstopper to deal with elbow. It's a great start for Melia. As YFP cleared so many from the site. They've got to feel secure about it. And Bob and Kara are split from each other with Sheriffs. It was going to be an uphill battle no matter what. YFP need to build some momentum, and this will put them on a 3-win streak.
GC Sheriff round.
Oh, clean shot. This is a follow-up. Kara, last one. It misses, but Melia doesn't, and she is firing on all cylinders. I mean, you've already mentioned it a few times, how mechanically different Melia has been, but this has been the agent for her. This has been the map for her.
Yeah. Now also getting the best value with a Vandal too, just to play the Pulse Plant. Yeah, it's still an anti-eco, but mentioned GC Sheriffs are very, very strong in this league. It was almost very doable. You needed Melia to also activate a Showstopper to save that round because the first 2 kills actually did come in favor of FlyQuest when they were trying to enter towards the site for YFP. You went from Showstopper to Vandal to Outlaw. Dude, she's using it all so far in this map for Melia.
Both teams have used the timeout because it's crunch time. It's do or die. FlyQuest are on series point. Only one of these teams will get to return to the upper side of the bracket to go to the grand final to face the very team that has knocked them down in Wadada. Both these teams want that revenge. And last time these two teams clashed, it went to game 5 there in GC3, and you could tell with the roster changes how good FlyQuest looked in recruiting a lot of players that have either been on the roster before to stars in the game changer scene. To even utilizing Bob and all the experience she got from playing on Blue Water and Challengers, and how impactful she's been as a duelist pretty consistently too. Like, she's dropping a 20 bomb.
Yeah.
Most in the lobby.
That's the thing for FlyQuest as well. I don't know how much practice Bob is able to get in with FlyQuest because of her commitment that she has with Blue Water and Challengers as well. So that proves to me that they're able to really be quick to react on the fly. But when you have these moments where Bob doesn't have the same dominance that she has on different like she had on different maps, and you need to dig a little bit deeper here into the pockets, at least they have the timeout in the coach slot to be able to help out and iron out what they could do here to maximize winning this map and sweep YFP in the lower brackets, in the lower bracket final. That said, for this round, it's to hold back.
No escape.
So Bunnybee threw a Euroclone in Showers and just pulled all of FlyQuest to look at Showers to use a Prowler there and an Orbital Strike right through U-Haul. YFP are being sectioned away from being able to plant as Lace decides to fire through the smoke. Prowler through the smokes. Annihilation from YFP to grab and see where Lace is. And it gets no one. And now YFP are forced to brawl out when they could have played time, and FlyQuest just trapped them as they walk in.
Spike down A.
And it's just Melia with an op. She's been so clean with it. It's not going to falter against the Yoru clone.
30 seconds left.
Spotted some util being thrown from the other side of U-Haul.
Yeah. 42 seconds left, very hard to do, especially when you're playing against Showstopper, Dimensional Drift, 3 versus 1. Still flash available.
10 seconds left.
Keeping that up through a flash. Oh, they're on the chase too. What a goofy end to that round. And she still kills Unstable.
We'll take it.
Oh, Melia's fun.
Small silver lining towards the end for Melia. It would have been even funnier if she actually left those pain shells and Unstable found the timing to go right into that and just blow up.
Yeah.
But it looks like here YFP does not want to give a chance for FlyQuest to really gain the momentum after the timeout and getting some success out of it. They really want to try to close out the map on Bind here. This is FlyQuest's map pick still, and they're trying to push this towards Lotus if they can. This is an important timeout too, because remember, you have FlyQuest still with 2 big ults going into round number 19. And when they tried to do that fake Euroclone that you were seeing here for YFP towards Showers that pulled everybody out, FlyQuest didn't matter for them to fight on that fake because they had full Showers control. And after YFP had nobody really taking late Showers control in the end, with the exception of Melia with an op that's watching it from a wide angle, and it's easier for FlyQuest to just anchor in that spot and not give a chance for YFP to get a plat here at the default spot of the A site. Now after this timeout, they probably want to try to pinch this a little bit more. I see these pings coming through towards the short and Shower side, so I'm expecting a little bit more of an aggressive split towards Showers, especially if they have the deadlock with Corrupt, who's been very good to grab net players on when they were playing on the defensive side. They could exactly do the same thing on the attack.
How they can activate this op, because now there's a lot of smokes when you have the Clove and the Brim, and there's just comes very up close and personal. And YFP though, last time they went to a timeout, they went on a win streak. They closed out the half 6-6. Oh, YFP did just spot. Clones don't know how to jump. Wait a minute. Sonder still susses out the real Yoru. And now the Annihilation too, if there's anyone else that demands the smoke out of Sonder, and just dry peeking through Hookah, and Bob gets both. Okay, I gave maybe too much cope to the YFP timeout.
Same.
I thought there was going to be this elaborate plan, and it's just kind of been peeking off, so.
Yeah, I mean, especially at the beginning of the round when they were pinging towards Short and Showers, yet all 5 players are, well, I guess 4 players are splitting for B control and a late camera on Short. It was going to be very hard for you to try to finish into Showers if you don't have any players trying to get inserted there in the first place to get control there. So yeah, it was interesting, but still some nice shots came out from FlyQuest with the op on the defensive side. They're even playing double op on the defense unless Bob is going to throw the second op away towards the end of the round. But if they're going to play with that type of confidence here for FlyQuest, then YFP definitely do have an opportunity to
30 seconds
slam a little bit quicker on the gas when they realize here that these 2 ops are going to be saved into the next round. If these 2 ops are going to be saved into the next round.
Does YFP get any type of momentum halted? At least you'll have one gun
10
into the
seconds
next,
left.
but we'll have to go up against all odds when now that'll put FlyQuest in a lead and a couple of rounds away from going to the grand final of our Game Changers kickoff. And this is to set the tone for the whole season. And I could totally see these two teams being absolute rivals in North America, like they sort of were even in the past with slightly different rosters. I just thought this was going to be a more extended series, and it still can, but it's going to take a lot of legwork from YFP, depending on what the buy is and what the plan is, because I didn't see anything like groundbreaking post timeout.
Yeah.
It's maybe just the Sonder effect, because she's probably one of the most confident Game Changers players we have, and she is not afraid to just tunnel in, lock down anything YFP throw at her.
And it's a grab net throw in, showstopper close. No. Maybe if Bob gets a kill after. I mean, it's still Bob. Get the kill, go in showstopper, get another kill. Why not?
Showstopper would have been cool off the rip. Ooh, the shoulder and the double showstopper to unstable, keeping her alive. Only Bob gets away with that.
Yep.
Oh my god.
So I was gonna say, at least the silver lining. I wanted to continue your thought on what you were just mentioned before. The silver lining, at least in this series, is that it has been very close in the last 2 maps, including this one. So this one and the pressure are definitely neck and neck until that happens. Until that happens from Bob, and then it's just like, okay, well, it's gonna be the same story all over again. It's gonna be Bob starting to activate, currently 25 and 13 on the defensive side.
Sound sensor up.
And that might just seal the deal towards the end.
Yeah, and this is a system of FlyQuest that have multiple IGLs and everyone contributing.
Yeah.
And to still be finding these moments of controlled chaos, organized chaos, I guess I'll call it. So now a bit of a buffer between our two teams and a dimensional drift from Bunny B. The info on Hookah, but he'll spot the very pushed up 2 defenders at B, causing YFP to now go in with more confidence, with Bunny B just handling it all on her own. Now needs to break in because the reinforcements are already here for FlyQuest 3 and the neural theft from Ev to suss out where Bob is in a 1v4. Again, with Boombot has paint shells and satchels, and Bunny B couldn't pull the trigger enough. It was mid-yap sesh either way. YFP keep themselves very close to FlyQuest.
And that's what we mentioned before we started this map, is that Yoru on a dimensional drift like Bind could get a lot of value. If it's not for allowing your teammates to spam through smokes to get kills, it's getting behind enemy lines. And with that, nobody really expected on Bunny B to TP or to come out of the dimensional drift right away towards B, because there was just so much utility and noise being created by the rest of YFP on the top of Long B. And Bunny B just really went top notch in that round. The space that they took, the fight also towards spawn that they won, allows your YFP to keep this quite close. But this is FlyQuest having a lot of rounds strings, in the last few rounds. Op is still available in this round here.
Yeah, Bunny B, these last couple of rounds has been so impactful. Part of that X set roster that really rocked GC years ago. She's floated on so many teams, and to insert yourself into this machine, YFP are fighting back, but Melia decides to disengage and hope that her teammate trades, and they do, but to lose Melia, one of your star players, is gonna hurt YFP as they try to set up, but they don't have any eyes on Showers, and that was just a delayed push from Bunny B. This creates so many problems in the timing for YFP. Dimensional drift for Bunny B. Immediately using that. And is able to take the spike from Kara.
And that's the thing, at least Kara's trying to body block as much as she could, because she knows she's going to die no matter what with the timer on it. So that at least Sonder could come across, and we're going around the world here for Bunny B. A fake around the
30
world, actually.
seconds left.
Oh. Sonder coming out of hookah. Eyes up. Bunny B knows, or at least I thought she knew. Oh, and that's the moment Sonder jumps out. That's the timing. Oh, we were just singing the praises of Bunny B.
Yeah, I mean,
not that she did anything wrong. It's just unlucky.
as soon as Bunny B turned away from hookah to look towards long, that's where Sonder looked back in that spot and got the timing. So it looked like Sonder didn't see Bunny B, but she probably saw the whole body and jumped out the window after to get the free kill. That was just unlucky timing coming out from Bunny B with, as you mentioned before, doing some good hero plays from the last 2 rounds so far. There's been a little bit of it there right there. See, seeing all that body jumping out, free kill on the top of the window ledge. But yeah, this is now map in series point here for FlyQuest for a chance to go back into the grand finals to play against Wadada. We're looking for a GrafNet play potentially. This is for long B control.
Just Sonder, one of the most successful GC players, longest standing ones, wants to chase her first crown in Game Changers. Second place curse is so real. Annihilation from Corrupt. I don't even know if it, I don't think it pulled anything, but YP at least got a first bullet out of it. So if you squint, it probably happens. What, FlyQuest? Yeah, at least trade as best as they can with the judge, I guess, at mid-range. Works out for Corrupt. That gives YFP a leg up to establish themselves at B. With Kara starting to flank around through elbow, splitting up with Bob, who takes the main door, but it is barriered off by the deadlock. And FlyQuest have Kara on a flank that doesn't know if anyone is back, but has to take a risk and address the angles one by one. And no one's peeked them yet. This is possible, but Kara looks the wrong way. And YFP get up to 11, a few more lives bought.
And a buy that wasn't as expensive coming out from FlyQuest, so they still have a bit to work with. You okay?
Don't try to pick up a water when you're thirsty. Anyway.
But yeah, no, it was still a nice attempt here coming through. I mean, Kara did get the first pick onto Tin, but they didn't expect all 3 players here for YP to play inside the site on the pulse plant. That said, the buy is still decent here because you have Guardians in the hands of Kara, and she's been good with it on that Haven map before. Remember that 4K that she had? Melia has a showstopper, and they want to try to power through. Camera sees unstable, and that gives us space here for A site for the showstopper to take control.
I love that FlyQuest are just trying to give up a lot of space, but are they going to be willing to push past it? Now U-Haul being fought for. The judge brings first for FlyQuest, that much closer to the ticket to the grand final. Unstable, barely at any health.
Uh-oh.
YFP pivot, right going through hookah. The sonic sensors are right outside of it as they jump in. It's gonna detect, and Sonder capitalizes on one, waits for the swing for Bob, and they have a crossfire. And FlyQuest clean up the arena from YFP, but before Corrupt is able to clutch against both players from FlyQuest. And 1v3. Here's the stomping from Hookah. 1 down, 2 more to go. Swings for the ace and for the save. As the Annihilation gets no grab. Car remains alive and has shot through Hookah, and it was almost the ace to save YFP, but a sweep for FlyQuest awards them a grand final appearance.
It had to be the Guardian in the end of Kara to close things out and allow FlyQuest to win that 1v1 into victory in a 3-0 fashion. Very, very nice towards the end for FlyQuest. A timeout was very much needed for both of the teams to keep this series close. But unfortunately for YFP, they finish in 3rd right now, where they couldn't get the upset against FlyQuest.
What a series, though, and a close one. I mean, both our last maps, 13-11 for FlyQuest. I love that YFP remained resilient, even when leads were growing and FlyQuest looked cleaner, and there was body shooting left and right. Like, this is that high-level competition, a lot of new players, but also a lot of veterans who have formed these super rosters. And I could see this rivalry between YFP and FlyQuest continuing as the season goes on, but this is just the kickoff. This is just the beginning of what we have in store for this year. Will be a Wadada versus FlyQuest Grand Final that's going down tomorrow, but I want to hear from the desk, and we may even be blessed with a special interview from FlyQuest, so don't go anywhere.
Red Bull gives you wings.
We got to the point where we could control the laws of nature by advanced electronics.
Well, folks, if you stayed with us this long, thank you so much. Welcome back to Verizon, Valorant Game Changers North America. I'm your host, Elizabeth, joined by Doug and Emily. And if you're just joining us, you missed it. Sorry. But you can watch the VOD again. But you have missed FlyQuest Red take down YFPX 3-0. There were some moments there that seemed like maybe we were going to a fourth map, Doug. But in the end, me championing YFPX was maybe the wrong call because FlyQuest Red just kind of took it and ran with it towards the end.
Nah, low key, like you looked like you were right for a little bit, and I thought, all right, well, this is happening. Liz just goes to show that she knows way more about this game than Emily or I do. But so there was that moment, and then Bob just continued. It's like you think they're playing at Masters Bangkok. Like it's insane just how good Bob was, especially these last two games. And again, this felt like maybe not to the same degree that Fracture was, but it felt a little bit like Bob was the one who was keeping them in the game.
Yeah, I mean, that first...
No,
I was gonna say that first, that first 6 rounds on their attack half, like Bob was just stomping. Fly was just stomping. YFP was able to bring it back to a 6-6 half, which I was not expecting.
Nope.
But they started picking them apart on their execs. But no, yeah, it really, really felt like the Bob show here. It was really cool to see.
That ult made me so mad. That should have hit anyways.
Yeah.
But I think the ending graphic for victory was Bob, and I think that just kind of encapsulates this day that we've had today. 40 bomb on Fracture. I'm not sure where she ended on Vines. I think we're gonna find out pretty soon. But still, just like a stunning. I think we should have a counter of how many like double showstopper kills she got. Just finding so much value out of that Raze util and just really helping kind of set up this brilliant performance for her team. But of course, 29-17. Wow. But of course, you have to give credit to YFP bringing it as close as they could. And that last round with Corrupt almost brought it to overtime, Doug. There was, like you said, there was a moment where we believed, and I think that ult just missed FlyQuest, but it so close yet not close enough, Doug.
Yeah, there was the ult that almost hit. I mean, it would have had to have been an ace for that to continue, and Corrupt certainly gave it the run at it. I think there's a lot of things that I mean, I was critical on YFP on some of their plans coming into this, the way that they were going about their compositions, the fact that it felt like sometimes they didn't fully execute them the way that they were designed to be executed. But the truth of the matter is, it's like you were saying, Luz, they pushed them. It was 13-11 on the last map. I want to say the second map was like 13-10 or something very similar. So they clearly, they can shoot. I think there's no question about that. And they pushed FlyQuest a lot today.
Yeah, no, it was amazing seeing them brawl it out with FlyQuest on a lot of the maps, especially on like situations where I didn't think that they would brawl. They did, and they won a lot of those rounds because of it.
Yes, and obviously we have to say goodbye to them now, but very impressive performance in lower finals. But we're going to talk to one of our winners right now in the Verizon post-match interview. Dare I say it is Sondering time?
Oh my god!
Because and she has a little Timo hat. Hello.
No.
How you feeling, Sonder? That was a 3-0, but it was getting like, a little tight there a couple times.
No. Okay. I knew that like Bob was just gonna have like a series, because so like Fracture, right? Like Haven was like pretty believable that we won really easily, and then Fracture, it was like, dude, the fights that like Bob was taking, like she was having every single timing. She would peek someone, chamber unscopes. Like that's when I knew like she was just gonna win the game. So yeah, like obviously I played very poor, but thank God like the rest of my team was there, and yeah, we just closed it out. Good stuff from my
Talk
team.
to me about what great stuff from your team, especially Bob with that 40 bomb like you were talking about. Talk to me about what it's like just to have such an frankly oppressive fragger on your team that just kind of finds those timing, takes those fights, gets like double showstopper kills all the time. Do you build around her? What is that process like?
No, actually, we don't really build around her. Cause right now, like, we're just kind of like playing and kind of plugging it out. As like this was like also like a last minute team, so we're just kind of like playing the game and just like hope, like we're just like plugging it out like rinkers. Like obviously we have set strats and like set defaults, but like at the end of the day, it's like if you don't kill him in the face, it's like what's the point? So, but
Well,
actually, Bob
Sandra,
doesn't
you
hit
came from
any
there.
showstopper kills. She every single time she gets robbed.
That I mean, there were a couple of
The
robberies today for
showstopper
sure,
work rose up. Yeah.
I want to kind of follow up on something you said. You have played in Game Changers for such a long time. You've had that kind of structure for a very long time. What is it like kind of plugging it out, as you said, right now and succeeding in a way?
Mm, I think there's strengths and also like weaknesses to it, because like for us, like we had a comp for split and like a comp for fracture, but like and like think this bind we had this bind, like we changed comps from Astra to Clove, like, and then we also changed like your from Gecko. So it's just like we're just kind of like playing off people's like confidence. And yeah, I think confidence is also a very good big thing. And like if people play with lots of confidence, that's the team that's going to end up on top. So yeah.
Well, you're going to be facing Wadada once again. They are the team that sent you to the lower bracket.
Mm-hmm.
Is that confidence high going into that match tomorrow?
Yeah, actually. I think the game against them initially, like, we didn't really lose to them. We were losing to ourselves, and like, we just messed up on the little things with each other. So I think we could most likely win tomorrow.
So
But we're just
no
Bob and
nerves.
friends.
We're
We're Bob and friends. I'm just friends. I'm just
you
the
are more
FlyQuest
than friends.
connection.
Nah, Sonder. You are Sonder. There's a reason that we say it's Sondering time, okay? We're not going to devalue ourselves here on Game
I'm
Changers.
just
That's
a
not what
little
we do
Timo.
here.
I'm just a little Timo.
And you know how everyone hates Timo because he's so oppressive and so good? People
No,
don't like
why would
Timo
you
because
hate
he's
that little guy?
that good. Because it's like the cat, Yumi. They're just broken. But back to our game of Valorant. We can play League another time. Facing Guadada tomorrow, obviously you'll be facing, Starbound and some of your former teammates. What is that feeling like going to face Guadada with that kind of former relationship or
well, obviously,
current relationship?
I mean, I wouldn't say like I don't have personal beef with any of them. Like, there's just another team. Yeah, I guess it's just like Starbound would know like how I would play, how like obviously like we played with each other before, so it's like you kind of have like you understand how each player plays, and with them on Chamber, like it's also pretty predictive of where they're gonna play because obviously Chamber's not like the best character in the game currently, but like there's only limited angles that they can peek, so just gotta like do our due diligence and clear that out, and yeah.
Well, I'm gonna let you go because you had a best of 5 today. You have a best of 5 tomorrow, so you got to go get. Timo needs his rest, So you got to
Timo
go.
needs rest.
do your
Yes,
thing.
Timo needs to eat.
Timo needs to eat. Thank you so
I'm
much,
so
Sonder, and
eepy.
congratulations. Go get
Thank
some
you,
sleep,
thank
girl.
you.
Go get some sleep. And aren't we all a little eepy now and again? Dare we say? Are you eepy, Doug?
No, never.
No, never.
Nope,
Not
not
with
once.
some nice Red Bull. Emily, you eepy?
A little bit, but it's because I didn't have my, sugar-free Red Bull today.
Yes, and that is we all make that mistake once, Emily. Never again.
Never again.
But just to look at how we got here and where we will be going tomorrow, we're gonna take a look at the bracket once again. And again, I do want to highlight that Wadada sent both YFP and YFPX and FlyQuest Red to the lower bracket, and it is going to be FlyQuest for the rematch facing them again. Another best of 5. And Sonder talked about it. She's a little eepy, if you will. And again, like Timo needs his rest. It's a marathon at this point. Wadada had a day of rest to watch, most importantly. So if you thought today was good, dare I say, buckle up. What does Timo say? I don't know what he says. He says something.
That was
Captain
really...
Timo on duty or something.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Captain Timo on duty. Yeah.
You just bailed her out because she was drowning. I mean,
I was,
no
I
help
like
either. I'm like, oh, she's in trouble. I kind of want to watch. This is funny. I'm here for it.
Oh, we're
you
setting me
saved her.
up.
I did. I got
This
you.
is why I like. This is why I like Emily more than you.
Honestly, I like Emily more than me too. I don't blame you.
Real and valid. Do we have any preds for tomorrow? Do we think between Wadada and FlyFest Red?
Yeah, I mean, I think like Sonder kind of said is that they were a last minute roster. I think with each matchup, they've kind of gotten a stronger understanding of each other, stronger team chem. She spoke on some little mistakes that they were making today in this best of 5, and I'm looking forward to seeing possibly a more fine-tuned team tomorrow.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's a lot to be excited about for FlyQuest. I think some of the smaller things that Sonder was mentioning has been adjusted to, and especially when you have a team that's that new and that is self-admittedly a bit puggy and just kind of playing the way they want to play. Those are things that only improve over time. And is it safe to say Bob is going to drop 40 again? Maybe. Doubtful, but I do think all of the fundamentals are there for that to not be the only win condition for them. I think Wada obviously beat them, but it wasn't a sweep. It wasn't super clean, and so I think there's a lot to be excited about for tomorrow.
Doug, show some respect. It's Wadada.
I think there are more letters in the VLR. It's not just...
No, it's
Wadada,
and it ends with 2 A's. Because
Mm.
Ari came in my chat yesterday. Doug, you going to correct me now? Because now I know what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about Timo.
I know,
Anyways.
okay.
thank you so much for joining us today. It has been a pleasure to have you watching us. And if you want more, we have some of the best, I think, grand finals we have had in a very long time in Game Changers coming up tomorrow. So on behalf of production, admins, the players, us on the desk, and the casters, thank you so much for joining us. Have fun, be safe, make good decisions, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.
One enemy remaining. 1 enemy remaining.